Okay, so now that we have our header and our footer pretty much set up, maybe a couple more things we're going to tweak out before we get rolling, we are going to go ahead and set up the framework for our subsequent pages of our website. So, Rob, why don't you go ahead and get us rolling?
Okay. Before we start laying out our other pages, let's finish up our header and footer. We have a couple more things we realized as we were looking over it. We have no home button. So we need to...
Yeah, we can visit any of these pages, but we can't really get back to our home page.
So we need a way to get back to the home page. And I think what we're going to do here is make the logo clickable so that when you click on it, it'll take you to the home page.
That's cool. That's also a really common feature on a lot of today's sites where you can click on the corporate logo and it's going to take you back to the home page.
So our issue here at the moment is the logo is part of the background. And so it's not clickable. What we'll need to do is drop an image on top of it.
Remember, that image is staying in place because we have that grid layout.
Right. A nice Adobe feature. So what we basically want to have is something that is transparent so that we can see the logo behind it.
Okay.
And so we'll need to go into Photoshop real quick and make that from scratch. It's very easy. Go to File, New. It's going to be a 1 pixel by 1 pixel GIF.
Okay. A very small GIF.
Very teeny tiny GIF. And I'm going to call it Spacer.
All right.
And the background should be transparent. Click OK. There it is. Very small. And now we'll save for web.
All right.
Make sure it says GIF and that only these two items are showing, these two colors.
As far as colors.
Right. And then hit save. Navigate to your images directory.
Now that's the local one that we've been saving all of our web images to at GoLive.
This is not the one. You don't want to do the one you were doing earlier. You want to now start adding things to the one you have in GoLive.
Right. In fact, if you click up here on the little drop-down arrow, you can it'll take a second to show up because we have so many drives. But there you go. We're in My Documents, Logging, Web Content, and then Images.
Right. So that's the one you named. Then GoLive puts one in there called Web Content, and in there is your actual files.
Right.
And so we hit save. Make sure it's Spacer GIF. Save. We can close this out. Go back to GoLive. And click on your inspector's palette. Click on the Basic tab. And then browse for your Spacer GIF. Here he is. And there it is.
Awesome.
All right. So you'll notice when anytime an image is greater or less than its original size, GoLive will add this icon just to remind you. If at any point you wanted to return it to its original size, you could click on this button. And in this case, we're not going to do it because it'd make it 1 pixel by 1 pixel.
Well, show us what you're talking about with like the products button.
Okay. If I were to stretch this out.
Oh, yeah.
And then click on this button.
And you saw that icon appear as soon as soon as it stretched out, we saw the little icon.
Right.
Very, very cool.
Right. So I'm going to undo that real quick just to make sure nothing gets...
Yeah, it gets saved in there.
Yeah, it gets saved. So there's one other thing. We now have... Oh, let's make it a link. We need to make it go somewhere. So it's going to go home, which is index.html. And let's go back to the Basic tab real quick and give it a name. And we're going to call it Stones River Logging Inc. So the search engines can see you.
All right. Very cool.
And so that's all we need to do for our home button. And but there's one other thing I noticed while we were looking at our Photoshop mockup. We're going to have a border around all of our content in our center block.
Right.
And so I want to duplicate that kind
Actually,
of
can we go over to Photoshop and take a look at that border?
Yeah, let's go look. Here it is right here.
Ah, yeah.
Right. So it would be good to, what I'd like to do, let's zoom in here, is have this the exact same distance as the border.
Ah, I see.
So what I'm going to do is measure using our marquee tool, looking at our info palette. It is 14 pixels. So that's what we need to know.
Okay, very cool.
We'll go back to GoLive. And I'm going to select our text again. This time I'm going to deselect what we had checked just to make sure that we've cleared out everything.
We had block style, and we also have available inline style and all these other options. What do these mean?
Well, and a block style will reflect affect not only where your cursor is, but all the text around it. So, or if this was inside a paragraph tag, it would select the entire paragraph and affect that.
Okay, so it's kind of like everything in a given area.
Right.
All right.
And if you were just to highlight just a couple of words and then hit the inline style, it would affect just those letters.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
So inline is just more focused.
Right.
I see.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to double click on the footer name here, and that will take us right into our basic CSS and the footer.
Into our footer class.
Class, right. And I'm going to move over to the margin and padding properties, and I'm going to add a 14 pixel border.
Okay, very cool.
Of padding around there. And I'm going to close that, save it, and I'm going to apply it to the paragraph tag.
Yeah, there's an extra tag over there on the end.
That was there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and use that one.
I gotcha.
Now you'll notice it's actually gone all the way around.
Yeah, we have a border now around our gold bar as well.
So that's a problem. And we're going to need to fix that.
How are we going to fix that?
We'll have to go into the source mode to do it because I don't think there's any way to fix a paragraph tag in the layout mode.
Okay.
So I'm just going to click on the source tab.
Actually, can we do the split view so we can see both sides of it?
Sure.
Is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
I love the split view, man. It's so awesome to kind of see the result while you work.
While you work. Okay. Let's move on over. I'm going to select
there's that starter tag.
Here's where it starts. And now you see it started, and then the image started. So it's the paragraph tab is wrapping around.
Right. That means the gold bar is included inside that style, so we don't want that.
That's why it's added it to the bar.
Right.
So let's just move it right in
So
front.
you're just left-click, dragging that in front of copyright.
You can just drag the text. And so only the text is selected now. And it's not going to update until we click this button.
Okay.
Let me get it again. But it did update.
Oh, wow.
And so we have a 14 pixel border.
Awesome.
And we're good to go in that respect.
Very, very cool.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess with that, our header and our footer are pretty much polished off.
Yeah. So we're good here. One more thing I want to add in here is I'm going to delete what's in here.
Okay.
And I've noticed you can always keep an eye of wherever you are in the HTML code. This shows you where inside the tables you are.
Right.
And so I noticed here that I have my cursor. You can't see the cursor.
Right.
But there's a paragraph tag.
Okay.
I don't want that paragraph tag because paragraphs have automatic indentions.
That's what's holding the thing open.
Right.
Right.
So I'm going to go and delete that in the source mode. Select it. Delete it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, and I'm going to drag a table in here, and I'm going to add that 14 pixel border that we just saw earlier with the table.
So the table is going to provide our 14 pixel offset.
Right.
Okay.
We can do this with the table.
All right.
So I'm going to give it one row, and I'll give it one column.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a percentage value of 100%. That'll fill the width all the way across. I need no border. I need a padding of 14.
Okay.
And I need no cell space. Okay?
All right.
So you can't see it. Oh, well, yes, you can see it. If you start typing in here, you'll notice we now have an indentation of 14 pixels.
We do indeed.
Okay. So I'll get rid of that.
Okay.
And then
very cool.
I'm going to save this because I think that's everything we need to get started.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let me hit save.
Control S.
Control S. I'm going to close this. And let's start duplicating. I'm going to right-click on our index page.
Okay.
Hit duplicate. I'm going to do it 3-4 more times. Duplicate.
Yeah, because we have a total of, 6 pages in all?
Duplicate. Let's see. Home.
Home, and then our...
Products, news. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pages.
Right. So I need one more.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to start naming them.
Okay.
This will be products.
And all he's doing, very much like Windows, is just kind of clicking twice on those.
Yes.
Not quite a double click.
Right.
But sort of
just like renaming a file. Testimonials.
And you'll notice that all of those pages have bugs in them.
Right. And hopefully...
And you'll watch this probably fix itself right here.
Hopefully all of our links should work after this.
Clink. There you go.
Okay, so no more bugs.
Because we named those new pages the same thing that we linked in the menu bars.
That's
so
right.
now all of those links are working.
Right. So we're going to work backwards from contact across our menu bar back to the home page.
Okay.
And so let's lay out our basic format.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to drop in a table, another table inside of our first table.
Table inside a table inside a table.
Nesting tables.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to give this also a 100% width.
Mm-hmm.
This time we're going to have 2 rows and 1 column.
Now, here's a question for you, because we're going to be using tables primarily for all of our layout concerns.
Mm-hmm.
How does a aspiring web designer, these new folks we are teaching, how do they know how many cells or how many rows and columns they need to make inside their tables?
Well, if we go back to Photoshop, let's go back real quick, and we'll zoom out, and you'll see why we need to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to put the title in the first row,
mm-hmm.
and then we're going to put everything else in the second row, and that way I can assign a color to the second row, and it'll be always that color.
Okay, hang on. I know I'm supposed to be the student, but the teacher in me really wants to take over and do something real quick.
Sure.
So let's see here. Let's close up the footer for just a moment. I'm just kind of cleaning up my layers real quick. What are we? We're in the products page. So if you're totally new to the idea of tables, here's just a really sort of a quick thing. I'm going to create a new layer, and we'll delete this out here in just a minute because Rob's like, oh, my God, you're messing with my Photoshop document. It's okay.
It's okay.
Everything's safe.
I'm not scared.
You're not much. All right,
Maybe
so
it should be.
Yeah, here's a really quick example of what we've been doing so far and what's kind of on the way. So I got my paintbrush out. You'll remember our entire web page, the whole thing, went inside a single table. Oh, look at this. You see that red line? And that table had, 3 rows? What are you doing?
You can hide the slices there.
Control H, make everything go away. So yeah, we had 3 rows in that first table. So it was something kind of like, not that, but more like this. So that was like our first table.
Right.
Then inside of the upper area, we had that grid, which had some lines this way and then some lines that way. And I'm sure it was a lot prettier than that, but that was just the general idea. Let me go ahead and get rid of those because you guys kind of already knew that. We didn't really do anything special down here inside the lower area. We just kind of inserted that border.
Right.
But here, now inside the main center of each page, we have interesting things. We got stuff that we have to lay out. And in web design, it's not quite a sort of, put this here, put that there. You can't really use a grid layout for every single thing. It just become a pain after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done so far is we have created, let me make this a little cleaner, we have one table that kind of encompasses the entire inside area. So that everything we do is going to be placed inside that one master table. Now, inside of this, we've put another table. And how do we do that? Well, we have this one graphic right here. And then we have this big open area in here. So we need one table with 2 rows to accommodate that. So what we'll do essentially is make a table inside of this. Now, of course, this is not to scale. This is inset to kind of show you the difference between all the tables. So we'll make one table that has 2 rows.
Right.
So 1 row for this top image, and then another row that covers this entire area.
Right.
It'll take care of all that. And then later on, we'll step down inside this lower cell, and we'll be busting this up into further tables so that we can divide this up into each of our product areas. Something maybe kind of like this.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And
All
so,
right.
there's going to be a lot of tables. We're going to be stacking them all inside each other.
That's right.
And so just try to keep track of it in your mind. This is not something that, some people grab this right away. I mean, I've discussed this kind of layout before with students, and some are like, oh, yeah, that's easy, no problem. And there's others that it may take a little bit longer. So just kind of take a look at your site and think about what can be divided up into different boxes and then how you can create those boxes. So didn't mean to really step on Rob's toes.
That's all good.
We'll go ahead and kill out that layer, and you can get right back to where you left off.
Okay. All right. So where were we?
We were over inside of GoLive setting up our new 2-row table.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our contact page open. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and add our contact title.
Oh, yeah, that image we made.
That image that we sliced and diced earlier. So I've laid out an image.
Just drag an image right into that first one.
Placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
And go to the inspector, basic.
Mm-hmm.
and let's go search for it. So we're looking for contact
title at the very top.
Very top, very first one.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's give it a name. We'll call it contact. And we will. All right. So that's all we have to do for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do now is select the row that's right underneath it,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do that by not, as long as you're not selecting directly on inside the cell, you can select on the border.
Okay.
And I want to give this a color. So the color I want to give it is this color here.
All right.
So I'm going to open our color palette, get our eyedropper tool, sample from that graphic. See, we now have that graphic in there.
Mm-hmm.
Add the color. Well, he's right here. Come on. I got to select it first.
Okay.
And then come back. Now it goes.
There we go.
There we go.
So you actually had to click on the box and then you...
Right.
I gotcha. Now there's a little bit of a divider there between
right.
the text and the color.
Right. That's left over from the default settings
So
of
we
the
go
table.
into the table tab.
Right. Get rid of the borders. Say 0 border and 0 cell space.
Okay.
Okay, and that will make everything nice and flush. And let me put a piece of text in there. If I can squeeze in there. Is it gonna let me do it? No.
You got to get inside.
Gotta get inside the text.
So if you're having a hard time selecting inside a table, is there a way that makes it a little easier to select?
Well, we have a special table and boxes palette.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes really well with the example you were giving. Whatever you have selected, it will show you the immediate table surrounding it.
Oh, nice.
It will show you the values for it, like we have that 100% width on here,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll show you like the number of cells. And if you click on any of these, it'll select those cells.
Oh, wow.
So, in addition to that, it has this button here, or you can select the parent table.
Oh, so if you have a cell selected and you click that button, it'll actually grab the table
Right.
that cell is a part of.
Right.
Very fancy.
And it'll select the table above that, and it'll select
yeah.
the table above that,
All
so you
the
can go
way
all the
up.
way up. And so we
See
can
all those
go,
nested tables.
That's right. We can go all the way back in. All right. So I'm going to drop an image in here. Yeah, just to give me some space.
Okay.
Just temporarily.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to preview this.
Let's preview this, see what it looks like.
Woohoo.
Looking good. That's there because it's broken.
Ignore
broken
that.
image.
Don't worry about it.
And we have our rollovers.
Mm-hmm.
We have our buttons. So let's go back and duplicate this on the other pages.
Okay.
I'm going to leave that image there for now.
Just kind of use it like a space holder.
Right. In
Yeah.
fact, let's go ahead and make it a little bigger,
All right.
and we'll give it that spacer GIF.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we can just nuke that out as we go along.
As we go along, right. So I want to select this table here. Let me go back to my table palette.
Tables and boxes.
Just like that. I'm going to select both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll hit copy, Control-C.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to close this out. I'm going to hit...
So you just real quick, you selected both of those cells as opposed to selecting the parent table?
Right. If I were to click on that button, it would actually start selecting the table above it.
Oh, okay.
See what's
I
going
gotcha.
on.
So you want to actually select these two cells?
Right. You select them both, then you've selected the table.
I see.
Okay. So I hit copy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to close this. Save changes.
Mm-hmm. So that was Control-C you hit earlier.
Right. You know what? I'm going to go back because there's one more thing I wanted to add.
Okay.
You don't have to do this, but in a lot of web pages, I like to give it the title of what page you're on.
Oh, okay. So you'll see that title bar change.
Right. So I'm going to add a dash and contact. Just like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Nothing complicated. Just to give
since it's a title bar, let's be a little more maybe contact information.
Sure.
Nobody's going to read it anyway.
That's true. Save. All right, let's move on up to history. And now I can select in here, and I'll paste, Control-V.
Right. Awesome.
And I'll replace it with our history title.
So that was back under the basic tab. You're just changing that source.
Right, to history title. Okay.
Excellent.
We'll call it history.
Mm-hmm. Change that title.
To our history.
Ooh.
Just to be fancy.
Now you're getting fancy.
Okay. And I think that's it for this guy. So let's save.
Mm-hmm.
Close it. Go to our next one, which is testimonials.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
Same thing over again.
Control V, change the image
To
This will be
where are we now? We're in
testimonials
testimonials, right? So it'll be
down at the very bottom of the
here.
GIFs.
Okay.
And then we'll just change that title. Well, yeah,
we'll
change
change
your
this
name.
to testimonials.
And then maybe customer testimonials, because we're all fancy with names up here.
Right. Customer testimonials. Okay. And I think we're good here.
Yep.
For now.
Control S, close.
And then on to news.
Mm-hmm.
Paste.
It's getting really quick now.
Right. We're going to find our news button, news title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And call it news.
All right.
And give it the name latest
news. We can. Oh, okay. Latest news. Oh, that's cool.
Okay. Then we'll save it, and then we'll close it, and then we'll go to products. And this will be our last one. Hit Control V.
Mm-hmm. Again, same thing.
There's a lot of repetition in web building.
Oh, yeah.
But that's all good. When it's all done, it makes it better. Products. So you try to find shortcuts when you can.
Maybe if here would be product line.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get this testable over inside of maybe even Firefox.
Okay. What you can do is select your home page, or any of the pages, it really doesn't matter. Go to Preview Browser, Firefox. Voila.
Awesome. Now, our homepage doesn't have anything in it yet because we haven't set anything up.
So let's go to Contact.
Aha.
History, Testimonials, News, and Products.
Awesome. Now, I did want to mention this. If you go ahead and try to bring up Firefox by going under your View in Browser button, and Firefox doesn't come up, make sure that you go under Edit and check the active box next to Firefox, because loading it up like we did earlier isn't quite enough. You will have to make sure that it is active before it will load up, and then at that point you can, I think you can just click on that. No, to come down and actually choose Firefox. Come on, Windows doesn't want to work. So no problem. And then Firefox.
Well, we know it works.
Yeah, Firefox is probably on the way right now, so no big deal. So with that completely tested, there's only one more thing I want to do, and I'll ask your opinion if you think it's a good idea. Think we should go ahead and publish this yet?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do it. Let's put it up on the web.
Yeah, let's see our progress on the web.
Yeah.
All you have to do is connect to Publish Server, rather, because you've already got your settings set in here.
So it all just comes right up.
Click the Upload Modified Files. It will give you a list of your modified files. Now you have lots of them because we've added pictures and things.
Now, is it automatically going to create that images folder and all that?
Yes.
Wow. So we just...
Yeah, you show folder structure.
Oh, yeah.
And it will show all the things that it's going to create.
That is too cool.
Yeah. So click OK.
Uh-huh. So much better than doing it by hand.
Yeah.
And now we just wait for the upload to take place, which might take a couple of seconds. So 45 of them to be precise. Yeah. So almost a whole minute of this video is just going to be watching us upload this. Gotta admit, Rob, you're doing a great job, man. I mean, even I'm understanding this.
Well, I'm glad.
This is excellent stuff.
I know there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There's a lot to go over.
It really seems like GoLive is making it really easy on us, though, to get all this stuff up here.
It takes care of a lot of headaches that you would have to take care of yourself, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember in college I had to do my first website, and it was like, hard coding in HTML and hand upload everything to the right folder. And
we've gone a long way from the basic text editor.
Oh, yeah. Many miles.
So we're done.
Awesome. So here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and open up Firefox. So let's see if does Firefox want to open anymore. Here we go. Now, right now we're local. So instead of going local, let's actually go to web.3dbuzz.com / and a little squiggly tilde key, logging, enter. And here we are. This is live on the internet. Now, if you actually do this at home, and you'll need to check your own page, of course. If you were to check logging right now, you'll probably see a finished site because by now the video is done.
Yeah.
But so now we can check this. We have the products page. We have the news page. We have the test. And you see a little word kind of pop up there as it loads in. History, contact, and then take us right back home. So everything is working awesome.
Nice.
We are live. Everything is all set up. So I guess now it's just time to go in and polish up each individual page until our site is done.
Yep.
So that is going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks a lot.